What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Wednesday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt. And sometimes you just have to laugh. Sometimes you're just ice cold. That would be 6 consecutive losing days. But the way we got there was the brutal part of all of this. I bet, over 81.5 for UNLV. It landed 81. We're 0-3 to start college basketball. That's got to change. The losing has to stop. That's got to change. We get the prop bet cheat sheet play right. The Vegas and Red Wings game, woefully under. There was 1-0 in the third period at last look. That game's not going over. So that was the bad bet of the day. The Paulo bet was the good bet of the day. And then the whole day was riding on whether or not UNLV could hit one more free throw to go over 81.5. They lost the game outright. I should have just taken plus 17.5. That would have been the better bet. And I was very close to doing so. I just didn't know enough about UT Martin to take it because UNLV only had 8 scholarship players. And they got tired late in the game. And then there were fouls and free throws and a lot of nonsense that went on that drove that number all the way to 81, where UNLV ultimately lost the game. But I mean, good number. Books made a good number right there. 1 free throw, 1 shot, 1 layup, and it goes over. Instead, it goes under. We go 1-2, down 1.5 units on the day. So we just keep on loading and keep on firing and hoping we're going to get ourselves out of this. Not a good start to the month of November, but long month to go. A lot of time to go. This is not unusual. If you are new, okay, I understand you guys are probably bent and mad, and I get it. And I appreciate you coming in and watching and listening to the podcast if you're new. But for those of you guys who have been here for a long time, this is not unusual. You have seen this before. These things happen. It's never fun, but if we're going to enjoy the ups and we're going to enjoy the wins when we go, 6 wins out of 7 days, we wind up with some weeks where we're like 20-4. If you're going to enjoy those runs, you have to understand that we're going to have runs like this, where for 6 straight days, I can't pick a winner to save my life. Fade away, okay? Go right ahead and fade away. Before I give you the bets for today, including my first Super Bowl future that I'm going to jump in with, let's give it away. It is the Ricky Pearsall jersey. Seattle Sharks - please 7-0. If that's you, if that's your handle, you have just won the autographed Ricky Pearsall jersey. Congratulations, you have won this. Ricky Pearsall jersey, Seattle Sharks. Please get in touch with our customer service agent at mailbag@fantasypros.com with your mailing address and a screenshot of your YouTube account while logged in. Once we confirm, we'll get your prize shipped out. And again, congrats to Seattle Shark. You are the winner of the autographed Ricky Pearsall jersey. If Seattle Shark is a Seahawks fan, it fits in perfectly for today. If he is a 49er fan living in Seattle, that is in enemy territory. But let's make the announcement as to what the next giveaway will be. Thursday Night Football with the Broncos hosting the Raiders. It is a autographed mini helmet signed by the one and only Bo Nix. If you would like your chance to win this mini helmet, we will give this away to one lucky Daily Juice viewer or listener, courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com. All you have to do is subscribe to the BettingPros YouTube channel right now. Drop a comment below in any of our Daily Juice videos, and you are entered. That's all you got to do. We'll make the announcement of the winner right here on the podcast in December, so make sure you have those notifications turned on so you know when new videos are up and you could claim your prize. Bo Nix autographed mini helmet up for grabs. Subscribe and comment, and you are entered into winning that said very cool, very neat signed mini helmet from the quarterback for the Denver Broncos, one Mr. Bo Nix. Okay, it is a Hard Rock bet day, so we have a Hard Rock bet to give you guys for today. But before we do that, let me give you the other place. Speaking of Seattle, it is time. So on my other show, on the Bostonian versus the Book, every Tuesday I do my own personal power ratings. And I go 1 to 5, top 5 teams in the NFL. And it struck me that I haven't really been listening to myself, or at least not betting or building a portfolio by doing that, because for the last 3 weeks, I've had the Colts as the number one team in football. But I wasn't sold that they were going to be able to win the Super Bowl because of the fact that the KC Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills will be standing in their way. So I wasn't comfortable saying, okay, there's value in the Colts to win the Super Bowl simply because of the path. Well, that's not the case for the Seattle Seahawks. They are my number one team this week, and I think we need to jump in at 14-1 for them to win the Super Bowl. Why? Well, let's look at some of these numbers for the Seahawks. It's pretty darn impressive. They are top 5 in points scored, and they are top 5 in points given up. They are top 5 in plays per game, yards per play offensively, and they are top 5 in plays per yards per play defensively. This is a team that is scoring over 3 touchdowns per game. That is top 5. And giving up less than 2 touchdowns per game. That is also top 5. This team turns you over, but they don't turn the football over. They are taking the ball away 1.3 times per game. That's top 10. And they're just giving the ball away 1.6 times per game. That is 29th in the NFL. Their turnover margin is decent. It's negative, actually. It's 0.4, negative 0.4, which isn't really bad. They're pretty much flat. They have the number 1 pass offense in football. They have the number 6 pass defense in football. They are right now throwing, Sam Darnold is throwing for 255 yards per game. That's top 5. They just traded for another wideout with the Saints and Shaheed, so they got another weapon to go along with obviously, Jackson Smith and Jigba has been amazing for them. Cooper Kupp's out, but we'll see what he looks like when he comes back. They can run the football. They're not outstanding at it, but they're good enough. Okay? They're good enough. 3.7 yards per play is not good, but they do run the ball 28 times a game. So even though the numbers aren't great, yards per rush, they do run the ball a ton, and they are top 10 in rushing touchdowns per game, averaging over 1 rushing touchdown per game, and they're only giving up 0.5 rushing touchdowns per game. It's hard to get after them. They are sacking the quarterback at a really good clip, top 5 in sack percentage. They are getting Sam Darnold hit a little bit more than I would like, but not horrible. It's not awful for them to do that. Red zone scoring percentage from a touchdown perspective, they're scoring a touchdown 70% of the time when they go into the red zone. That's tremendous. That's top 5 in the NFL, and they're only giving up a touchdown in the red zone 54% of the time. That's 9th in the NFL. The numbers are tremendous, and here's the one I like even more, because I'm not sure Seattle's going to win the division, okay? They've got real competition at 6-2. They've got real competition. They may not be able to get home field throughout the playoffs. They may not be able to, they may be on the road. They may have to go on the road. Here's what I love. They're actually really bad at home. It's weird. Under Mike McDonald, they're actually a much better road team. Like a much better road team. The last home game, the Seahawks, on October the 20th, they won and covered against the Texans. You have to go back to October of 23 to find the last time that Seattle won and covered for consecutive home games. Since that streak, they have gone 8-10 straight up at home and 5-12-1 against the number at home since October of 2023. I have no idea why. It just doesn't make any sense. But when Seattle plays out east, like say they have to go play the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Okay, get this. Since 2018, the Seahawks are 18-8-2 against the spread in the Eastern time zone. And under Mike McDonald, Seattle is 6-1 straight up in the Eastern time zone. And they're 5-1-1 against the spread. So far, Seattle has been phenomenal. They just went to Washington on Sunday Night Football, and they beat up on the Commanders on the Eastern time zone. I think we got to take it. I think this number is going to start to come down dramatically. Let's take it. Seattle to win the Super Bowl at 14-1, 1 unit down. Seahawks plus 1,400 for 1 unit here. Shop around and find the best price. Books are either at 12-1 or 14-1. I'm taking Seattle to win the Super Bowl. First play of the year from a future perspective. Seahawks 14-1 to win the Super Bowl. Bet number 2. Let's go and talk some NBA basketball with the prop bet cheat sheet in Lauri Markkanen from the Utah Jazz. They're on the road against the Detroit Pistons coming up here for tonight. Prop bet cheat sheet has Markkanen projected to just have 22 points and assists in this game, but his prop is 27.5. The cover probability, according to the prop bet cheat sheet, is 73%. It is an expected value of plus 39%. 40% is the best. It is a 5-star play, as you would expect. What's crazy is that this prop has hit 5 straight games before the last game against the Celtics. Okay? This prop is 5-1 over the last 6 games. A different way of saying that. But looking at defense, looking at numbers, looking at the way this team may be able to play, this is interesting to look at. I'm going to trust the prop bet cheat sheet here. It cashed last night with an over for us. Points and assists for Lauri Markkanen. We're going under 27.5. He got a little hot over that 5-game stretch, but mostly this has been an under. 9 of the last 15 games for Markkanen, he's gone under 27.5 for points and assists. He only gets about 2 or 3 assists a game. So his season high is 5, and that was in the season opener. So mostly it's like 2. So he has 2 assists. We just don't need to, as long as he doesn't go off offensively and scores a ton of points, we're okay. Now, he scored 51 against Phoenix. He scored 32 against Portland, 33 against Phoenix on the road, and 29 against Charlotte. We don't want that to happen here tonight. We want to have a game like he had against the Clippers where he had 20, or the Celtics when he had 20 here going up against the Pistons. We don't want him to go off and go crazy, but prop bet cheat sheet likes it. I'm going to follow it. Lauri Markkanen, under 27.5 points and assists for 1.1 units. Before I give you the Hard Rock bet of the day, play of the day, let's talk one more play in the game between Ball State and Kent State. So, Ball State, laying 1.5. Some books have moved to 2.5 already here. So there's some discrepancy in the market on this game. MACtion in November is beautiful. We love betting MACtion. It's been a staple of the Daily Juice podcast. So Ball State is 7-3 straight up over the last 10 meetings between these two teams. And over the last 3 meetings, it's been 37-35, 34-3, and 27-20, the wins for Ball State. They've been able to move the football and score against Kent pretty consistently. 3-5 record for both these two teams. Both teams are 5-3 against the spread. At home, Ball State is 3-0 against the number, while Kent is 0-4 on the road against the number. That's a pretty big discrepancy, in my opinion. That's a pretty big difference in this game, in my opinion. Ball State has been the moneyline favorite just one other time this year, and they did win the game outright. At home, that was against UNH, against New Hampshire. At home against New Hampshire, laying 3, won by 5. At home against Ohio, catching 14, won by 6. And at home against Akron, catching 1.5, they won by 14 points. This Ball State team plays well at home. They win games at home. On the flip side for Kent State, they lost to Toledo as 25-point dogs. They lost by 35 in that game. They were at Oklahoma. They were catching 46.5. They lost by 44. They were at Florida State catching 45. They lost by 56. They were at Texas Tech catching 46.5. They lost by 48. So clearly when you're playing Texas Tech, Florida State, and Oklahoma, you're going to get your doors blown off. You play Bowling Green, catching 7.5 points. You only lose by 3, but you were at home, Kent State, in that game. This is now you going back on the road to take on a Ball State team that's been very good at home, and recent history has been in favor of Ball State. Let's take the Munchie Boys in Indiana. Ball State, minus 1.5 for 1.1 units. So, Seahawks to win the Super Bowl. Lauri Markkanen, under 27.5 points and assists, and Ball State minus 1.5. Let's get to the Hard Rock bet of the day. It's Creighton basketball time, boys and girls. If you are new to the podcast, you can't kind of see it, behind me, but there is a Creighton symbol behind me on the wall. I am the former pregame and postgame show host of the Creighton Blue Jays. I am the former owner of the first ever rival site covering Creighton basketball. I bet the Jays a ton. Okay, so let's talk about the Creighton Blue Jays, their home opener, season opener tonight up against a team in South Dakota where a lot of these kids dream of playing basketball in Omaha for Greg McDermott at Creighton. Here's the thing about South Dakota. They're bringing back a couple of decent players. 6 of 13 come back. They were picked 5th in the Summit League. But style of play here, the Coyotes last year finished first in turnover percentage. They finished second in adjusted tempo with 75 possessions per 40 minutes and third in points per game at 85.2. They're going to run. South Dakota's going to go up tempo. That's great news because the Jays are going to go up tempo. The Jays have a lot of talent returning, including Jackson McAndrew, who had a Big East all-freshman season last year. He's back. He hit 69 three-pointers, setting a Blue Jay freshman record, and that's a record that was broken. That's Kyle Korver. That's Doug McDermott. Jackson McAndrew is that type of talent. He's really, really damn good. There's a bunch of new players. There's 9 new players on the roster, a couple of transfers who have come in who have wowed. There's a couple of freshmen here coming in that are expected to do some big things for the Creighton Blue Jays. They're going to go up tempo. First half overs and first half team totals overs have been very profitable betting on the Creighton Blue Jays. Again, this is game 1 for these teams. We don't know what these teams are going to look like, okay? So we're flying blind. We're flying off last year's stats. There's tons of recruits. There's tons of transfers. I'm not really all that mad that I opened up 0-3 here. However, I do think this is a good opportunity to take a first half over for the Creighton Blue Jays where they're at home, going to be a sellout. They're ranked top 25, and South Dakota's going to come in and push them. I think South Dakota is going to run. I don't want to lay 16 points in the first half. I don't want to lay 28.5 points for the game. I just want to come in here and just take Creighton first half over 79.5 for both Creighton and South Dakota. Let's go over in the first half at 79.5 at -120. Let's get a 50-30 score here in the first half. And I think the Jays can put up 50 points in the first half. I really do. If their threes are falling, I do think they have a massive advantage inside, massive size advantage, massive athletic advantage against South Dakota. But again, South Dakota doesn't turn the ball over. They want to run, and they're going to look to score in bunches. Let's go over 79.5 and -120 for 1.2 units. That was the Hard Rock bet of the day here for us on a Wednesday. You guys know that Hard Rock Bet is the sponsor of the Daily Juice podcast. It's that time of the year, a golden time of the year, not just pro football. We have the NBA, college football, college hoops, and hockey all sharing the stage. There's always something to bet on. If you have not tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet yet, there's still time to do so. You can get $150 in bonus bets if you place a $5 wager, and if it hits, you get your winnings, but you also get $150 in bonus bets. The Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app is the only legal sportsbook in Florida, but it's also live in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado. More states coming too soon. Plus, Hard Rock Bet offers new promos every single day. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit coming up here today for us. So, good stuff there. There's the Hard Rock Bet of the day. So, what are we doing today? Well, we're trying to have a winning day. First time in a week. See if we can do it here. But plays for today. Seahawks to win the Super Bowl at 1,400, plus 1,400 for 1 unit. Laurie Marketing of the Jazz under 27.5 points and assists at -110. Ball State, MACtion at home against Kent State at -1.5 for 1.1 units. And the play of the day for the Hard Rock Bet is the Creighton basketball against South Dakota. We're going over in the first half, over 79.5 at -120 for 1.2 units. So 3 bets in action for tonight and 1 future to give you guys here on a Wednesday. Hopefully that snaps us out of this cold streak and we can get going here with Thursday night football with the Raiders and the Broncos and more to come. My name's Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all my socials at Sports Talk Matt every morning, wherever you guys get your podcasts. It is the Daily Juice.